Hello everybody, welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada, and today I am super excited to share with you this bright, bold Christmas card that I've created for my In Color Club for August 2022, featuring our Parakeet Party stamp of the month, or color of the month. And we're using the Decorated with Happiness for all three cards in this club. So this is the beautiful stamp we're using. I love how it's a traditional type of imagery, but with a whimsical feel to it, which is awesome. Super fun, and it goes well with the bright colors. And then of course it has coordinating dies. These are the Decorated Pines dies. You can buy this bundle in the July to December 2022 mini catalog. The other item I'm using is the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder, and this one can be found in the annual catalog. And it is super cute, super versatile embossing folder, so it's one that I do use quite often. I'm excited to share this card with you and how we can create this in just a few simple steps. So if you're a member of my club and you're watching along to create your cards, you already have all of the pieces tucked away in your kit, cut and ready for you. If you're not a member of the club and you're watching along, don't worry, I'm going to give you the dimensions as we go, and they're also in the description of this YouTube video, so you can find them there too. Okay, so this card is so bright and cheery. I am super excited. I love the whimsical feel. And to do that, I've used a few different colors. We're using Starry Sky, which is another one of the current newest in colors, for our card base. And this measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored in half on the long edge at 4 1/4. So basically an 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half and scored in half creates these beautiful card bases. All right, so I'm scoring it with my bone folder to give it a nice crisp edge. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just set that one aside for a moment. So I've got a piece of Smoky Slate, and this measures 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 inch. Then I'm going to take a piece of Parakeet Party, which measures 3 3/4 by 5, so an 1/8 of an inch smaller. And I've gone ahead and embossed that with that Merry Melody embossing folder. Now just check that out. It is gorgeous, right? Nice deep imagery. It's beautiful. It's a really, really pretty embossing folder. So we're going to go ahead and attach those two pieces together. And you can use whatever adhesive you like. I just happen to grab my multi-purpose glue. I always have it close at hand when I'm crafting. So that was the quickest one to grab. My other go-to, of course, is a Stampin' Seal, but for today's card, the multi-purpose glue is on. So there we've got that, and that is just going to get attached to the center card front, okay? So there's probably a right way and a wrong way to put this music on so that it's the right way, but I have forgotten how to read music. It's been a very long time since I was in grade school playing the saxophone, and so I don't remember. So for now, it's just for card making. Really doesn't matter, so it's going on that way. All right, so we've got a piece for stamping. Now we're going to set this aside because we do have quite a bit of stamping to do, and I don't want to get ink all over that. So I'm just going to set that way up there. As I mentioned, the club members have their pieces already cut. So we've got a 4 by 5 1/4 card insert in basic white. We're just going to put that off to the side for a moment. Then you've got 3 pieces that are all exactly the same size, and they measure 1 1/4 by 3 1/2. I'm doing that the wrong way. And then another piece that is 1 7/8 by 1, and that's this little guy here. So we're just gonna get right to stamping. So first thing we're going to do is line all of our pieces up that are the same size. So we're just gonna basically create one piece of paper by putting those all together, okay? So there's our first thing we're gonna do. Now we're going to take the images. So I've got this one here, which if I show you on the stamp set, is this stamp here. And then we're also going to need this one first. So we're going to use, to create the boughs, pine boughs here, we're gonna use Shaded Spruce and Parakeet Party. These are so, so pretty together. So we're gonna do that. The first thing I wanna do is take the Shaded Spruce, and I'm going to take the large, more detailed, the full branch. And we're gonna ink that up. I'm trying to do it so you guys can see here what I'm doing. Ink it up. And then we're just gonna stamp it. I'll just move that out of the way. Move my whole table here. And we're just gonna stamp that over top. Okay. And it's okay if it's not perfect or if they come apart. We're not even gonna worry about it. We're just gonna line them back up. Ink it up again. Maybe have one coming this way. Oh, I missed a little piece there. Maybe if you hold them like I just did, then when you lift your stamp off, it won't move. So the photopolymer can tend to get a little sticky, and sometimes they do stick. So that's a little trick. Just hold it in place. So we're just gonna stick one down there. Basically just trying to fill this in the best I can and still making it look random. So that's really fun. I like the way that looks. I'm gonna leave that as is. I'm gonna close up my Shaded Spruce. And then I'm gonna open up the Parakeet Party. And I'm going to use this solid piece here, the solid stamp. And I'll get it the right way. We're gonna ink it up. And then you'll see that it kind of sits so nicely right over top. It's not a perfect lineup, so don't sit here and try and get it all lined up perfectly because it won't. But you're just gonna get that color in behind the green. Isn't that so pretty? It just makes it really pop out. So we're just gonna close that in a bit. And I'll stamp that there. Again, these are gonna lift because I didn't have any paper I was able to catch, so let's put those together again. Stamp that one over top of there. And one more time over here. We'll stamp this one. Awesome. Okay. I love those two colors together. They are just so bold and bright, cheerful. All right, so we can put the Parakeet Party ink away as well. And then I'm going to pull out my Smoky Slate. Now this color is soft and it looks beautiful with these. And we're gonna use the small little star. So just this little one right here. And all we're gonna do is just give it a few stamps to fill in some of the white space. Don't forget when you're doing that to spin your stamp sometimes, so that gives it a little different look. So it doesn't look like the same thing over and over. That one didn't stamp completely, but no worries. I'm not concerned about that at all. So there we go. I maybe could use one more right in here. A little one up here. Looks pretty good. Perfect. Okay. So now we can close up that Smoky Slate. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull that card base back in, and we're going to attach those 3 panels with just a small little gap in between. And we're going to use Stamping Dimensionals to do that. So I've got my large ones here, and I'm just going to set them onto the card so that they flow the way we stamp them. We don't want to get them mixed up. Okay. So that's why I said it's not so important if they slipped or slid a little bit when you were stamping them, because there is that gap, so you wouldn't even really be able to tell if they weren't exactly lined up. So I'm just going to pop 3 dimensionals on the back of each of these. And pop that on there. So I'm lining the edge, the left edge of the white card stamped piece here to the folded edge of the card. Okay. Then I'll do the middle one. And I would recommend starting at the top as I just did and working your way down. You can see already that I positioned this a little bit different than my original card, but that's totally okay. There we go. And the last one, 3. As always, there's a lot of dimensionals and a lot of layers on this card. So there we go. We've got them with just a small little gap in between. You could make it bigger or smaller. You can put it however you want. But the idea is just to create those 3 panels. This one, I actually wish I had moved down a little bit more, but we're not going to worry. It'll probably pull up that embossed piece. So we're just going to leave it as is, and we'll make it work. So we've got those 3 panels. Now we're going to take our other 2 smaller pieces here, and with some black ink I'm going to use my Memento because I'm also going to color with my stamping blends. So if you're coloring with your blends, do remember they're all alcohol based, which means you need the Memento ink pad so it won't bleed your colors together if you're using black. So I've got my Christmas greetings, and I'm going to stamp that onto my 1 7/8 piece here. Okay, we can set that off to the side. And then on my other piece, I'm going to stamp the 2 ornaments that I want to use. So I'm going to use these 2, and I am going to run them through my stamp cut and emboss machine. So hopefully I'm not going to make the table wiggle too much and make you seasick. If you get motion sickness from the camera, then please, once I get to that stage, just close your eyes and I'll let you know when we're all done. All right, so those are stamped. I love these ornaments. They're so cute. I'm going to color them with polished pink and Starry Sky to create that nice bright whimsical look. So starting with the polished pink, and doesn't hurt that this is my favorite Stampin' Up color currently. So I'm just gonna trace around those images, and while we've got it out, we'll just do these ones as well. So basically just outlining the colored pieces that are already there, and then with the lighter one, I'm just gonna shade that all in, going in a sort of a circular motion, and then just filling it in. Do the same thing over here. The whole camera's shaking. All right, and then with Starry Sky, we're going to color in. Again, we're just going to kind of trace the outer edges, and then we'll finish coloring them in with the lighter one. I sure love the Stampin' blends. They are my favorite markers for sure. Now, I do need to grab my Smoky Slate ones to color in the top parts here of the hangers. So I'm just going to give it a small little line of the dark, and then just fill that in with the light. Okay, coloring complete. So now what we want to do is get our coordinating dies from the Decorated Pines die set. They match up beautifully, and moving the whole paper once again. Sorry about that. So here's our mini boss machine. And to create, or to die cut with the dies, we need to have plate number 1 and then a plate number 2. And I do tend to use 1 for all my cutting, and I try to remember to keep 1 for just the top, but that's not necessary. So I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to line these up. We don't have a magnetic platform currently for this little guy. So I'm going to do my Post-it note trick. Oops. Now what I did find when I was creating these samples was this dot here, if you make sure that the black part is showing through of the string, then it's going to be in the right place. And this just is a little bit harder than normal with the camera over top, but hopefully it'll work out. The same thing here, making sure that black line is in the circle, and then that this is lined up. It should be a nice, tight, snug fit along the stamped image, the outer edge. Okay, now, as I mentioned, we're going to use the Post-it note, so I always have a small little stack of Post-its close at hand when I'm die cutting. And I'm just going to, oh, that's not going to work. I'm just going to attach it here. So it's catching the die and it's catching the paper. So it's not going to, hopefully it's not going to move. And then we'll take another one for over here and I'll stick that down. Then we'll put our second number 2 plate on top and we'll wheel this through. Hopefully not making you too sick. In fact, I mentioned before, if you do get car sick or see motion sickness, just turn away. I'm almost done. It'll only take a second. There we go. All right, you can come back and look again because we're all done that. So when I take these off, I'll peel off the Post-it notes. And there we have our die cut ornaments. Super easy. Now we can complete our cards. So we're going to take the Christmas greetings that we stamped, and we're going to do one dimensional behind the C, so on the left edge, and then over here on the other edge we are going to put a double bump, as I like to call it, because I like everything to stay nice and flat and even. So because there's already a dimensional layer here, when we go and attach this one like this side will be essentially double bumped, so we need to make sure this one is too, so everything lays nice and flat. So I want this lined up with my Parakeet Party base here, and then just straight across. So there we go. Now we're going to do our ornaments. So once again, we're going to put a dimensional behind each of them. And then if you have some mini dimensionals, they always come in super handy. We can just put one up here behind the bow. And that way it's going to be a nice secure hold on these ornaments that we just created. And they won't be falling off when your recipient opens their card, which is always a good thing. So this just is going to get put here to the left of the greeting. And then we'll put this one up here. Now you can put them however you want. Quite often if I have a little blemish somewhere that I didn't like how something's stamped, I'll make sure that this type of thing covers those spots so that nobody knows the difference. But this card turned out pretty cool, so I'm excited about that. There's the front, but let's not forget the inside of our card should have a little extra as well. So here is our plain white, basic white card insert. And of course you are welcome to just insert it the way it is, but I always like to jazz it up a bit. So I'm going to take my shaded spruce, I'm going to pull this stamp back in, and I'm just going to have a little fun. So no plan, I'm just going to stamp that one here and then maybe twist it up and put a little bit coming off the top here. And of course, because I do love the Parakeet Party pairing with that shaded spruce, let's go ahead and put some of that behind here as well. Like so. So of course you could get really creative. You could stamp more ornaments. You could just go crazy on the inside. But I like to kind of keep it simple, but like I said, do show it a little extra love to make it that much more special. So let's go ahead, put that inside our card. A wee bit. This glue is so awesome. You really just need a tiny little bit. Oh, it's just so pretty. Those colors together are just awesome. Okay, so there we have it. There is our second card that we are featuring in my In Color Club for August 2022, featuring, of course, Parakeet Party, which is also paired beautifully on this card with the Starry Sky, which we've already featured. I pulled in an In Color from the last set that is still current in the polished pink, and together they look so fun and bright and bold. So if you've liked today's card, please check out the other two videos for my In Color Club using the Decorated with Happiness and the Parakeet Party. Give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate all of your support, and I love crafting here with you. So until next time, have a wonderful day and happy stamping!